Cool. All right. Hi, AMC. Hope you all are having a good day. I'm excited for our interview today. I'm really excited to introduce you all to Rebecca Ball. She's a member of AMC that I don't know very well. I was just telling her before we hit record, but I know a little bit about you from afar. I just think you're super cool. So I'm excited to ask you questions and let everybody else hear your story. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, cool. Well, we're going to just jump right in. And I'd love it if you could tell us a little bit about your background, a little bit about yourself, and how you got into triathlon. I know that's a huge question.
Okay, well, I was a swimmer in college, so triathlon was always just kind of there on the edge of everything because there were always triathletes training with the swimmers.
Yeah.
I did my first triathlon I actually did in college, but it wasn't until it was like my senior year, and I just did it on a lark, and I had a mountain bike. And it went flat like halfway through the bike, and I barely finished. It was a sprint. It was called the Cajun Man Triathlon in Lafayette, Louisiana. And apparently there were alligators that I didn't know about. Then I probably would not have done it.
In the water?
Maybe not in the water where we were, but I know that the place where the bird's nest that all the alligators like hang out was not that far away from us. So there could have been alligators in the water.
Oh no, that would terrify me.
Yeah, I did it just for fun. And then I didn't come back to triathlon until 2008. And I did a super sprint. And basically I had gotten to a point where I had my two kids, and I was heavy, and I was uncomfortable in my body, and I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yeah, totally.
So I just started training, and I did the super sprint, and I was like, I was still really uncomfortable in my body, but I felt like I can do more. So I just kept going up from there. I had some medical issues that I had to fight with, and I had to fight to lose the weight. And once I did, when we moved to Colorado in 2015, I did my first half in 2016. So,
wow. How much time was there roughly between that one in college and then coming back to it in 2008?
Well, I graduated in 1999, something like that.
Okay, that's the same. I graduated high school in 99, so maybe we're about the same.
I graduated in high school in 96. So
okay, you're just a little older.
Oh, it was actually like 2000 was when I did the triathlon. Yeah.
Okay. Was it always in the back of your mind as something you wanted to go back to, or was it more like, hey, you hit this point in life and I need to do something, and this is what I know? Like
it was always in the back of my mind that I thought I might do an Ironman at some point in my life. I didn't really know what that meant at the time.
Yeah.
But it was something I saw people training for, and it just seemed like a fun goal to have, I guess.
Yeah. So you were a swimmer in college. Had you ever run or cycled, or were those things really new when you came back?
Cycling was completely new. Running, I did track and cross country in like junior high and high school, and then I chose swimming when I moved on. And we still ran a little bit for swimming. We would never more than a few miles, but stadiums and things like that. So
okay, cool. I know you're a fast swimmer from some of the group swims, and Jeff will always say, man, she's super fast swimmer. So is that the one you're the most confident in? Is it your favorite, or is it all kind of evened out now?
I think I like running the best. I may not be all that fast, but I like that there's no equipment involved, I guess.
Yeah.
Of course, you need your running shoes and whatever, but there's less to get ready for, I guess. So there's less stress involved.
That makes sense. Cool. Well, you kind of said this. So your first race was in college, but that super sprint, when you came back to it in 2008, what was that? What race was that? What was that like for you? What was that day like?
Was hot. It was in San Antonio, Alamo Heights. It was a pool swim, which was interesting because we actually had to snake the lanes, and I'd never done
Oh,
anything. I was like, okay, I've only ever done this in drills, but
yeah.
that, and then got out on the bike, and I did have a road bike at that point.
Okay.
It was it was difficult for me at the time, but I made myself run all 2.5 miles at a time.
Nice.
I know that
Yeah.
was amazing,
Yeah.
but and then I remember I won a raffle for a number belt, and I had no idea what a number belt was. So
Awesome. At that race day, you won the raffle. That's so
yeah.
cool. So what was it that made you want to do another one? Like if it was a hard, kind of hot day, like what did it spark in you that made you go, I'm going to keep going?
I like hard though. I
Okay.
like to push myself. I like to see what I
Yeah.
can do,
Yeah.
and just because it was hard, it just felt like it could get easier, I
Yeah.
guess.
That makes
So,
sense. That makes sense. I
yeah.
like it. So you kind of touched on this, maybe you can elaborate in whatever way you want, but one of the things I'm interested in, I say this in a lot of the interviews, is just people that have been through setbacks of some kind that they've had to work through. Because I think that's hearing other people's stories encourages me. And I think most of us have something, if we're still at it, that we've had to work through. And so I'm curious whether that's injuries or the weight loss or whatever you want to talk about. Have you experienced any big setbacks on your journey, and how did you
Yeah.
do that?
So I was 240,
Mm,
250 when I started,
wow.
and I was swimming,
Mm.
and I tore my labrum.
Ooh, now where is that?
Felt
I
it
should
go.
know.
It's in your shoulder.
Okay.
At the shoulder. I tore it at the shoulder. It's the
Okay.
right side, which is my dominant arm.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I had the surgery,
Mm,
and I went to a physical therapist,
mm.
and he actually told me that I was more likely to stroke out on his table than ever do an Ironman.
What?
And
A
that
physician said that to you?
of, yeah,
A
physical therapist.
physical
Yeah. It broke my heart. And at that point, I didn't think I was going to be able to swim again because I had constant nerve pain
Yeah.
from the surgery.
Oh,
As soon as
wow.
the nerve block wore off, it was like agony for like
Oh, wow.
3 months, probably. Took
Wow.
me a year to get back in the water.
Wow.
And then when I did, I had to do a lot more stretching and a lot more strength work to get it
Mm,
back. But
wow.
it's back.
Yeah.
And then it took me, let's see, that was like 2010. And then I did my first half in,
Okay.
I think it was 2016 was my half. And then I did the full in 2017. So it took me a few years after that. But I was like,
Wow.
tell me what I can't do.
Yeah. Watch me. Yeah.
I'm the youngest of four. And I think that, you kind of learn from your older sisters and brothers to push through that adversity. So
yeah. So you had a couple of years of working your way back up.
I did.
And was it was just, tell me, I think I'm just so curious. Sometimes I think I'm not as like gutsy driven as I wish I was. So I really admire people who have that. Was that hard to stay focused and keep moving forward? Or did you just have it in you to keep
I
pushing
gave
towards
up
it?
for a little while because my physical therapist told me I couldn't do it. And so for like, I don't know, probably 6 months, I was like, I just can't do it. And then I started going to the YMCA again, and I started doing rowing classes. And that was the best thing. And it actually strengthened my shoulder, and it strengthened my core, and everything just started to feel better. And I was like, maybe I can do this. And then I went and started to swim again, and I was like, okay, I can do this.
Wow.
And then got back on the bike and started running again. And
I love it. That's awesome.
so
I bet that half Ironman was just a huge celebration for you personally when you
I
finished.
cried.
Yeah.
I cried because it was over, I think. Or I was hormonal. I'm not sure which.
Yeah.
But I cried, and then I was like, okay, what can I do next? So I signed up I did Boulder that year, and then I did Harvest a few months later.
So you did the Boulder full that year?
The half in 2016. And then I did Harvest after that. And then the following year I did the full.
And that was your first full the next year?
Yeah.
Okay, what was that like? Sorry, I'm getting off track all the questions I sent you.
The full was very hard the first time. I didn't have nutrition down.
Yeah.
I didn't know about salt. I didn't know
Oh, wow.
how to
Yeah.
fuel my body. So
Yeah.
I got off the bike and I started throwing up on the run, like from the
Oh,
get-go.
oh,
Dry heaving and throwing up and just not good, and like laying
yeah.
on the ground and like I'm just gonna keep moving forward and keep crawling forward. And a couple
Oh,
of
wow.
volunteers tried to get me to stop, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm fine. And I get up and walk a little further, and then I came upon the base tent,
Yeah.
and they gave me salt,
Oh, there you go.
and all
Wow.
of a sudden I
Hmm.
could run again. And I was
Yeah.
like,
I bet
oh,
that was magical.
salt.
Who knew?
Who'd known that pink salt was like the
Yeah.
key?
Well, it's counterintuitive if you've never been told that. A lot of the standard health nutrition advice is a lower salt
Oh,
diet.
no
And
salt.
so it's,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're newer as an athlete, Jeff and I didn't know that for a long time. And then and Jeff has some heart disease in his family, so he's always been careful with salt. So when we were first told that, he's like, ooh, I don't know. And
Yeah.
then you realize you,
You melt
you
when you
really need
run,
it.
and
Yeah.
like the salt is all over you.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
Yeah.
got to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah.
So tell tell the club about the ultra race you're training for. I know that you've done it once before, but I had never heard of such a thing, I think, until you participated a couple years ago. And then I was
Right.
like, what is happening? So if you could, because I imagine that there's people in the club that aren't familiar with these. So if you
Sure.
could tell us, like, what is it?
Um,
And then how do you even go about training for such a thing?
well, I met Mary Carey in
Yeah.
2017, late 2017, and she was training for it for
Okay.
2018.
Okay.
And that was how I initially heard about it.
Okay.
The race distances are actually a 10K swim, 149.8K bike, which roughly is like 170 miles.
Okay.
That's day. No, wait, that's not right. I'm sorry. It's a
It's
10K
okay.
swim and then 94-mile bike on the first day.
On one
Day
day.
2 is 275.8K, which is roughly 170 miles on the bike. And then day 3 is a double marathon.
Ah,
And that is the Ultra 520K in Penticton, British Columbia.
okay. Maybe I didn't see when Mary was doing that. That rings a
Yeah,
bell, that place.
Mary did it and she
Okay.
finished it. And yeah,
Wow.
so I trained with her a lot in 2018 leading up because I had two Ironman that year.
Okay.
And 2 halves. I don't know what I was thinking, but I did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
In preparation for the following year, and then
Okay.
started training for that. And yeah, so this is my second run
Yeah.
at it.
Okay.
I actually got pulled on day 2.
Oh, okay. Last time. Okay. What
Yeah.
happened? Do you mind sharing?
I had back cramps on.
Oh,
We were about. It was about 130 miles on day 2, and I couldn't pedal anymore.
okay.
And I was like, I just can't. And Mary and Aaron were great. They were like, come on, Becky, you can get back on the bike. Get back on the bike. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did like 3 times. And I tried drinking Coke and I tried
Yeah.
taking, salt and everything. And when they got me back to medical, they realized my body temperature was 102. And
Oh, no.
I
Yeah.
had overheated and
Yeah. That's that.
yeah. But then I got up the next day and did the double marathon.
Did you so
I
I
did.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
So were you an unofficial, like it wasn't an official finish for you, but you completed it, or how does that?
You can finish, you can start each day, whether you
Okay.
finish or not.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
it was technically official. I finished a
Yeah.
double marathon and I finished
Wow.
it under the 12 hours. So which
Oh my gosh.
it's funny because the girls, Erin and then Mary, were
Yeah.
supposed to kind of finish together on day 3.
Yeah.
And I saw the clock above me and I was like, 11:49. We'll have to get under 11:50. So I started going fast and they're like, dude, we just ran 20 miles with you. We're not running.
Yeah.
So I took off and finished, and it was,
Oh, that's
a little funny, but they were like, what'd you do that for? And Mary's like, because of the clock. Mary
yeah.
knew.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay. So
So how do you even train for something like that? I mean, those kinds of distances, 3 days in a row, what does that look like for you?
it's actually, I'm not going to say easier, but there are no bricks.
Oh,
So I don't have
okay.
to ever run off the bike.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Sometimes I bike out of the swim, but
Sure.
that's not an issue for me because it's a
Yeah.
swimmer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of long blocks.
Okay.
So I did probably, what did I do? I think I did 2 marathons and a 50K. And then I did the MS 150.
Yeah.
I did Elephant Rock 100. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I did 125-mile day on my own on the bike. I
Wow.
did a marathon on my own. So I guess I did another marathon. I did one
Okay.
on Monday. Um, it's a lot of long stuff, but it's interspersed with,
Yeah.
it's like short during the week and then long on the weekends.
Sure. Sure.
So, and I'll have one 10K swim. I might be able to get it in Sunday. We'll see.
Okay. Wow.
So,
So your body hold up pretty good with that, all of that? Like, are there things you have to do different to really like take care of yourself while you're under
um,
that kind of a load? Because like I might spend the whole year training for one of your training days.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
prehab and rehab, I guess. I
Yeah.
have a lot of like rolling and stretch cords, and I have a lacrosse ball that I have to
Yep.
put in certain places and just kind of lay on it and
Yep.
move my arm up and down. And
Yeah. Yeah. I have
I
one of
have a
those.
physical therapist that I see
A
when
different
I
one,
need
hopefully.
to. Yes, a different one. That physical therapist was in Texas.
Yeah.
So it was, are you sure your husband's okay with this? No. But yeah, so Kelsey's actually going with us this year. So it's Kelsey and Mary who are gonna, and Kelsey's my physical therapist.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
so,
Cool. Oh, that seems like that could be a great resource to
mhm.
have out there with you.
Yep,
Awesome.
exactly. So we're gonna get a nice like a camping cot so she can take care of me on the road if we need to. So
Okay. Awesome. So what day is the race? I know it's later this month. Or
the
days. What days are the race?
27th is when we leave, which is Wednesday, and
Okay.
then Saturday the, is that the 30th, and then the 31st, and then the 1st. That sounds
Cool.
right.
Okay.
If there's a 31st in July,
Okay. So
then it
right
is
at the end
the
of the
30th
month.
and the
How are you
1st.
feeling about it? Do you feel
I'm
nervous?
feeling ready. I'm
Ready?
feeling ready.
Yeah.
I didn't have any problem with the marathon on Monday.
Wow.
Saturday and Sunday were really hot.
They
So
were.
I was on and off the bike getting ice most of the
Yeah.
day, but
Yeah.
and then I ended up running into that storm over by the
Mhm.
Platte, so I had to. Jess Gerds came and picked me up,
Yeah.
but I only lost 15 miles on the bike, so
Okay.
I feel good. I feel strong. I feel like I'm ready to get it started and get it done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna have any problems on day 2, but I guess you
Yeah.
know, leave it up to the gods.
Yeah. 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 What motivates you to reach for something so big? Like the first time around, like coming back at it, is it just fun for you? Like what motivates you to
It's fun for me, but I like to see how far I can go. And after that, I still go back to that physical therapist, and not go back to him physically, but in my
right
head
in
and
your
think,
head? Yeah.
you don't know what I can do. Watch
Yeah.
this. You
Yeah.
know? So it's
Yeah.
part of the, I mean, that's always going to be with me because
Mm,
I mean, I lost the weight,
mhm,
and I've never had any heart problems. I've never
mhm.
had,
Wow.
anything like that. And but
Yeah.
so that always comes back into my head.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow. Odd that like I'm processing like something so wildly inappropriate and cruel, but
Right.
like it's motivated you to do these cool things in your life in a weird backwards way. Like I don't even know quite how to let that sink in, but I admire you for taking something like that and pushing against it
Yeah.
and letting like something really cool come into your life through
I
that
always kind of
process.
push back. I have 2 older brothers and an older
Yeah.
sister. You don't grow up as the youngest in a household.
Yeah.
They're 10, 11, and 12 years older than me. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Wow. Yeah.
it was fight back or
Yeah.
get rolled over,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That makes sense. That
yeah.
makes sense. Cool. What, and this is maybe a little bit tied to that, but what would you say through your whole journey with it is the biggest thing you've learned about yourself? through the process?
I have more in me than I let myself believe. When I did that first Ironman, I didn't think I was going to finish. I had it in my head, I'm never going to finish. I'm not going to finish. But then I did, and I did it while throwing up. So I thought, well, I've got more in me than I know, and let's see where I can go with it.
Yeah. Has that played out in other parts of your life outside of sport? Like the kind of that discovery, like I have more in me than I give myself credit for?
I don't know. Not really. I'm pretty laid back in life other than triathlon. I walk dogs. I have a little business. My kids they're not athletic at all. So I'm really the only one in my household that pushes past things like that. Just kind of, so
I like it. I think it's very cool. I would like to be more
really hard,
like
I
that.
guess.
Oh, that's good. So last question, if you were talking to someone who's brand new, who's at like the front end of something like this, maybe they're wanting to lose weight or they're overcoming health stuff, or they just, your comment really struck me at the beginning. You didn't feel good in your body. Is that how you said it? You weren't comfortable in your body?
I wasn't comfortable in my body.
In your body. Like, oh, I've totally been there. What advice would you give someone who's just on the front end and would hear like something like your ultra and go, I could never do that, but is wanting to try? How would you encourage them?
I mean, you have more in yourself than you know. So if you push yourself, you can really do anything. And I mean, if it's a weight loss thing, you got to learn what you can eat that'll fill your body, that you can still, if you want to lose weight. We don't have to lose weight. That's the thing. And I learned that as an ultra, as an ultra person, I actually do better with a little extra weight. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to be skinny.
I love that. Nobody says that to women. I love that.
You don't, I mean, I guess I was down to 135, 140, and then I'm back up to 160, and I'm more comfortable. I feel like I can eat the things that I want to eat, and I can still do the training that I want to do, and
have the energy.
I have the energy, and you just gotta stick with it and push through, and
that's good.
Your body has more to give than you let yourself believe. So push through.
That's good. I love that. Thank you that encourages me personally. Thank you. Appreciate you saying that.
Sure.
Cool. I feel like I should have had more questions for you. This has gone really fast and I'm enjoying talking to you. Is there anything else you want to tell the club or share? I know I'm throwing that at you randomly.
Okay. So last week, my mom had a health scare. She had a stroke, and I thought I was going to pull out of the race, and I thought that I was going to cancel everything, and she told me not to, and that she would be really upset with me if I gave up, and that I had to keep moving and keep doing what I was doing. And my husband and my kids really stepped up this weekend to help me. They stayed with her while I went out and did my long bike rides and my long run. And of course I called her every couple of hours, but it was really hard. So I'll be racing for my mom and my family, for myself as well. But but she's at home and she's doing well. No worries, hopefully. But and she'll be with my brother while we're racing in Canada. So hopefully she'll be able to watch some of the live feeds and cheer on. So
I'm so glad you shared that. Can I ask what her name is?
Susan.
Okay. I'll be thinking of Susan. I'm sure we'll be seeing pictures and we'll all be able to sort of cheer you on through Facebook. But maybe as a club, we can think of your mom too and send out a prayer and some good thoughts for her while you're racing. That's wow.
Thank you.
I'm glad you shared that. Well, thank you. I know you were rushing home from stuff today to do this with me. So thank you so much for making the time. I'm so excited to share this with everyone. And we'll be rooting for you. You're very inspiring.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Rebecca. I hope you have a good evening.
You too. Have a good night.